Every LEGO set has something unique that sets it apart, but there are a few builds that include something extra special. Today we'll explore several Easter eggs hidden in LEGO sets that you may have missed. Hold on to your donuts for this one, because this is the Homer Simpson Brickhead set, which was released by LEGO in 2018 along with Krusty the Clown. Homer is constructed out of 78 LEGO pieces and contains two fun references that can't be seen on the outside. Homer has an extremely small pink brain, which pales in comparison to the 2x2 pink brick that nearly every other Brickhead's character receives. And as far as the second fun feature, it's a removable belly full of donuts, of course. Great Scott! One of LEGO's most ambitious projects is their Back to the Future Time Machine set, their largest and most detailed model of the famous DeLorean. This set has Easter eggs that nod back to each of the 3 Back to the Future films. Can you find which Easter eggs nod to each movie? There's a banana and tin can to power the Mr. Fusion device, as seen on the vehicle at the end of the first movie, but what about the other 2? This set can actually be built in one of 3 versions of the DeLorean, each based on a different film in the trilogy. The set also includes a light-up flux capacitor, a box of plutonium, Marty's hoverboard, and exclusive Doc and Marty minifigures. LEGO worked closely with Universal to make this set as authentic as possible, and according to the general manager of the Toys and Merchandise subdivision of Universal, this is one of the best products ever released for the movie. In similar fashion, here's another set based on a movie. This Indiana Jones LEGO set celebrates George Lucas's involvement in Indiana Jones as well as the Star Wars franchise by including a sticker on the set which clearly shows R2-D2 and C-3PO as if they were hieroglyphics carved into the tomb wall. In fact, you can actually spot the sticker just by looking at the front of the set box. It's quite an awesome reference. The LEGO Marvel Airport Battle set has undoubtedly been one of the most anticipated from the 3 Captain America Civil War sets released, and it includes many of the significant characters as well as some impressive models and a few special Easter eggs too. The most notable Easter eggs in this set are stickers that were included on the items being transported. This set has 3 suitcases, one referencing Sokovia from Avengers Age of Ultron, where the final battle took place. Another one says BLL, which is a reference to the Billund Airport where the LEGO company was founded. The third and final suitcase says Wakanda, which is a reference to the fictional Marvel city set in Africa and the homeland of Black Panther. Next up is the LEGO Ideas Sonic the Hedgehog Green Hill Zone. Launched at the end of 2021, LEGO shared that there are a lot of details and Easter eggs that have been hidden in this set. Taking on the challenge of turning the concept into a LEGO set was LEGO designer Sam Johnson. When talking about the set, Sam said, "We have designed this set to be just as colorful and fun as the in-game version, then filled it with lots of Easter eggs and even prizes to help fans enjoy some of the most beloved gaming icons in a brand new way." Many stickers are involved in the creation of this set, and many fans have noticed secret stickers that are referencing secret things. You may notice here that Viv is actually the name of the fan who designed this set, since this is a LEGO Ideas set. LCK are the initials of the graphic designer for the set, and the name Sam references the first name of the set's official designer from LEGO. And also, last but not least, 1991 is the year that Sonic came out. It's pretty subtle, but definitely not unusual for LEGO to honor their fan base by hiding Easter eggs as nods to people that were involved in bringing the set to life. One of the more interesting sets that has a few gems is the Ghostbusters Firehouse Headquarters set. It was released in 2016 and shortly after discontinued a couple years later, and so it's quite hard to get a hold of. This 4,600 piece set has a few interesting Easter eggs honoring the Ghostbuster franchise and its fan base. The lead LEGO designers for this set included a map with the exact location of the actual building of the firehouse in Manhattan. They also added a dart game chart with their real scores. But one of the most impressive ones is the arcade machine featuring the Marshmallow Man, who is clearly an iconic character in the movie. However, the most meaningful Easter egg is on this pin board. Here we can see 2 scribbles, one that says MB, which are the initials for the LEGO designer Marcos Besa, and the other one says RIP HR. It's basically saying rest in peace, Harold Ramis. Harold Ramis not only played Egon Spengler in the movie, but also wrote the script for Ghostbusters 1 and 2. The LEGO Firehouse Headquarters set was most likely in the design phase in 2014, and news of his passing probably influenced the designers to include this tribute. Here's something interesting. So, a Vic Viper is a type of spacecraft characterized by its unique parallel wings that sit in front of the cockpit. This building trend was pioneered by Nate Nelson, who sadly passed away, so the designers of the Alien Conquest Earth Defense HQ set put a tribute to their friend and colleague Nate, who also went by the nickname Nen, on the spaceship. The spaceship was also designed in Nate's signature Vic Viper style. In an interview with the LEGO set designer Justin Ramsden, he described the Hogwarts Castle LEGO set as having, quote, the greatest number of Easter eggs that he's ever managed to cram into any one model. Justin admits to having worked with a fantastic graphic design team who were huge Harry Potter fans, so they kept challenging themselves to sneak in special references wherever possible. The biggest one for Justin is probably the piece count of 6,020 LEGO bricks, which is also an old set number in reference to the magic shot. This retro set was one of the first ever sets to include a wizard in it. I actually own this LEGO set myself, and it was super fun to build. Ninjago City from the LEGO Ninjago movie is jammed full of references and Easter eggs both from the Ninjago series as well as past LEGO games. In fact, there are almost too many to mention. One of the most notable Easter eggs, though, is the comic book store owner who wears a Galador shirt. This is a tribute to both a character in the Ninjago TV show and also the LEGO Galador theme itself, which has a reputation of being one of LEGO's worst themes ever. There's also a poster that features Wrench along with a set from Space Police 3. The posters in this set are full of fantastic references to past LEGO themes. You can also find a bed that has a signed photo of Johnny Thunder under it. Johnny Thunder is the main protagonist of the LEGO Adventures theme that was introduced in 1999. He is certainly an iconic character, so it was great to see how LEGO integrated him into the set.
Surprise! Excitement!
And I also want to mention that the clothing store is M-Tron branded, which was a sub-theme of the LEGO Space theme that started after Futron in 1990 and lasted until 1993. Now, nearly all of the sets from LEGO's Space Police 3 line are filled with fun references back to prior space themes. The Galactic Enforcer set has a sticker on the wing of the Black Speeder that reads Spyrus Rules, which is a reference back to the LEGO Spyrus theme released in 1994. There's also another reference on the back of the Skull Twins spaceship in the Hyperspeed Pursuit set, which reads I love insectoids. Insectoids is another retro space theme from 1998. The citizens of LEGO City seem to get around. Minifigures from one sub-theme tend to pop up again elsewhere as they go about their little plastic lives. One fun example of this can be found in the 2022 LEGO City Hospital set. This set came packaged with 813 pieces and 13 minifigures. However, fans of LEGO stunts might spot a familiar face. One of the patients in the ER is actually Wallop, the driver from the Demolition stunt bike build. It seems that he may have totaled his bike too, as he comes with a blue bike in the hospital set instead of his normal yellow dirt bike. One of LEGO's most recent offerings is the new Idea set, the A-frame cabin. This set is absolutely packed with details that would make any outdoorsman yearn for some fresh mountain air. But it also contains some really interesting references to other LEGO Ideas sets. Included on the desk on the ground floor is a typewriter, which is likely a reference to the typewriter LEGO Ideas set. The keys are printed onto a 1x2 cheese slope, while a 1x2 white tile recreates a blank sheet of paper. Another fun reference can be found in the bedroom on the second floor, where there seems to be a tiny version of yet another LEGO Ideas model. This is very clearly the fan-favorite treehouse set, with the dark blue tiles for the house roof giving it away. The red and yellow bricks surrounding it may even be a nod to the different season pieces represented in the set. Nexonites ran from 2016 to 2018 and put out more than 40 sets. The theme was a really unique mix of classic fantasy and futuristic sci-fi, and gave us some absolutely legendary sets like the massive Fortrex. But hidden all over this theme were references to other LEGO franchises going back decades. In fact, the Fortrex set itself contains a classic reference. The front gate features two numbers, 375 and 6075. This is a reference to one of the most iconic early LEGO sets, the Yellow Castle. This set was originally released in 1978 with the smaller set number, and then re-released a few years later due to its popularity with the larger set number. The world of Nexonites, though, is filled with family rivalries. One of the minor players is the Morrington family, whose symbol looks very similar to the Black Falcon logo from the original Castle line. The LEGO Creator Series has given us some of the most clever and diverse sets of any theme, and 2015's Detective Office is no exception. With just over 2,200 pieces, this set is 3 floors of details that are all carefully constructed to tell a story of crime and mystery. The set tells a story that revolves around a detective's mission to uncover the source of illegal smuggling during the Prohibition era. But since this is a LEGO set, the contraband in question isn't alcohol, but instead family-friendly cookies. The story unfolds throughout the intricate details of the building, which features a secret trapdoor in the back of the barber shop, allowing smugglers to move the cookies to the pool hall through a secret passage. The cookies are made on the top floor, right above the detective's office, and the smugglers go to great lengths to keep the operation a secret. The pool hall, which serves as the main point of sale for the illegal cookies, features several hidden details, including a secret door beneath the trophy case that allows the cookies to enter undetected. Oh, and this set also features LEGO's first and only ever mirror piece, which is pretty cool. Next up is a hidden secret Easter egg in the Koenigsegg Jesko set from the Speed Champions series. It's well known that LEGO likes to slip in designers' initials onto license plates, but this set doesn't have one, so what's the secret? Well, pretty early on in the build, you're asked to add a few blue and yellow tiles. Even before opening the bags, these pieces immediately stand out since they don't match the other color scheme of the rest of the set at all. So when they finally get placed, it's all the more surprising to find out that they'll never again be seen once the set is completed. But what's the secret? Well, it's a Swedish flag to commemorate the origins of the famous Swedish supercar manufacturer. Flags aren't the only things hidden in sets though. LEGO's series of holiday display sets have long featured hidden images in the bases. The Valentine's Brown Bear set, for example, features the appropriate message "I love you" underneath its base. Other sets' Easter eggs in the line include this bat from the Halloween owl, the snowflake under the Christmas penguin, and of course the literal Easter egg under the Easter bunny. Oh wait, it's a carrot? Well, I guess that works too. While these are all neat little surprises, they also serve a functional purpose. These little sections help support the top of the base and give everything just one more point of connection for the build. Perhaps the most anticipated release of the past few years is the new Lord of the Rings Rivendell set with over 6,000 pieces of incredibly intricate beauty. The attention to detail that the designers put into this set is apparent in every nook and cranny, and I could possibly do a whole video on just this set. But littered throughout this set are references that are sure to be appreciated by fans of Peter Jackson's movies. Some of these are incredibly obvious, like these two paintings taken directly from the film that have been Lego-fied for this set. We've also got a great dual-sided head for Bilbo, featuring a look into his darker side. Up in his chambers, we've also got a neat little piece. We can see that Bilbo's hard at work writing his memoir there and back again. But the biggest secret of this set can be found underneath the ring platform. In the scene, when Gimli attacks the ring, the Eye of Sauron briefly flashes before Frodo's eyes. Well, underneath the platform, we can see it too. Standing at over 3 feet tall, the LEGO Saturn V is an impressive model in every regard. It's pretty well known that the piece count of this set is no accident. While 1,969 pieces may seem arbitrary, it's actually a nod to the year of the first manned mission to the moon, which was of course accomplished using the Saturn V rocket. But what's really interesting is exactly how they got the set to that number. After all, the original submission on LEGO Ideas had only 1,179 pieces, so bulking this thing up by nearly 50% required some significant changes. The designers had to balance the need for accuracy and detail with the desire to keep the set at a reasonable price point. Early on, the idea of making the set exactly 1,969 pieces was talked about, but seemed unlikely and was deemed too restrictive. When the first design revision was finished though, the piece count actually was 1,973. What are the odds? Dropping just a handful of pieces was actually incredibly simple. They just swapped out 6 1x2 plates for 2 1x6s. One final issue came up when the designers were generating the instructions, as the inventory counted only 1,968 pieces. However, after some research, they found that the instructions had not taken into account the brick separator that would be included, bringing the total up to 1,969. Nice. Set 10307, the Eiffel Tower, is the tallest commercially available set that LEGO has ever made, and its exact height is no coincidence. You see, this mammoth model is actually built to the exact same scale as several other notable LEGO sets. While the brick-built version towers at 5 feet tall, the actual Eiffel Tower is 984 feet, nearly 200 times taller. This 1 to 200 scale appears a few other times, including set number 21042, the Statue of Liberty. This is especially fitting as the engineer and entrepreneur Gustave Eiffel was famously involved in the design and construction of both of these iconic landmarks. The Mario 64 question mark block is possibly the coolest Mario set we've gotten from LEGO so far. This giant yellow cube looks pretty basic when it's all closed up, but with just a few motions it opens up to reveal an entire world inside. Fans of the game will instantly recognize Peach's Castle, the Bomb Battlefield, Cool Mountain, and Lethal Lava Land, all replicated in amazing detail. The front of the castle pops off to show the instantly familiar interior, complete with the paintings that will transport Mario to each of the 3 other levels. Each of these little vignettes manages to faithfully recreate all the most memorable features from these levels. But the biggest secret can't be found in any of the official LEGO pictures. On the front of the box, there's a hidden compartment that slides up to reveal a miniature Bowser hiding inside. What's even cooler is that if you press down on him, it opens another secret panel. This is the stage for the final showdown between Mario and Bowser, just like the original game. LEGO cars tend to make the most out of their license plates. In LEGO's London bus set, the bus has a specific combination of letters and numbers on its plates. The numbers are actually the set number, something that LEGO often does, and the letters refer to the designer, Morton Graf Wang. They're his initials. The LEGO James Bond Aston Martin set has all the features you'd expect from any spy car, and one of the iconic gadgets is its rotating license plate. In the movie Goldfinger, the car can switch between German, French, and Swiss plates, and so can this LEGO model. However, with the shape of LEGO bricks, LEGO had a 4th side that they could work with. 3 of the license plate numbers are the same as in the film, but the 4th has the self-explanatory JB007. Maybe not the best idea for a spy to advertise themselves like this, but it's a nice touch. Similarly, the LEGO Volkswagen Beetle set has California plates reading P51AK1, which might not mean much to you at first until you realize that the set was designed by Mike Psyche. It also includes Australian plates that have CAD 156 as a reference to LEGO designer Mel Caddick. Next up, we've got a fun Easter egg that's actually hidden across 2 different sets. When LEGO was celebrating its 90th anniversary in 2022, the company released several reimagined versions of classic sets. One of the most anticipated was the release of set 497, the Galaxy Explorer. The original was a true classic, and fans couldn't wait to get their hands on the upscaled version, set number 10497. Even the set number is a reference. However, during the build, many fans spotted something, a familiar logo on the ship's radar screen. That triangle is the unmistakable symbol of Blacktron, the bad guys from the classic space line. At the time, most people assumed that this was just a neat little reference, and it was. Well, until the end of 2022 when LEGO announced January's gift with purchase. For 2 weeks in January 2023, customers could get their hands on the Blacktron Cruiser set. This ship was a fair bit smaller than the Galaxy Explorer, but that doesn't mean that it's about to run from a fight. The pilot's radar screen in this set shows the outline of the Explorer and indicates that this guy is about to make his move. Now, with more than 24 collectible minifigure series out, it's impressive that LEGO has managed to avoid any real duplicates or reprints, but that doesn't mean that some things don't get recycled. Series 5 featured some unforgettable minifigures like the Dinosaur Guy, the Royal Guard, and the Lumberjack. However, it appears that times got tough for this woodsman in the years following his LEGO debut. By the time Series 14 rolled around with its Halloween theme, we got a view of what had happened to him. This series' Wolf Guy seems to be sporting the same red flannel shirt and jeans, though now they've been ripped up a bit. And before anyone says it's a coincidence, check out the name that's stitched on his shirt: Porkel. Now, the Lumberjack wasn't the only minifigure to get a Halloween makeover. Going back to Series 1 when we got the Skater, several years later, LEGO put out a book called I Love That Minifigure, which was basically a massive illustrated guide to the history of LEGO's little plastic people. Included in it was this unique minifigure showing the fate of the classic character. There are some clues to the life of your average minifigure scattered across the LEGO City theme. It all starts in 2016 with this LEGO People Pack set. Here you can see some proud parents taking their newborn for a walk. 2 years later, the family makes another appearance in the Pickup and Caravan set, but this time their son is older, perhaps 10 or so in human years. Anyway, 3 years later in the Holiday Camper Van set, the boy is now a grown man with a wife and kid, not to mention also owning his own camper van. He's still wearing the same clothes that he was as a kid though, so I guess some things just never change. So what does all this mean? Well, it took him 5 years to go from being a baby to starting a family. If the average age that humans do that is about 30 years old, then 1 human year equals 6 minifigure years. That would mean that the average lifespan in LEGO City is about 14 human years. And in that case, you better go check up on those minifigures that you bought back in 2009. LEGO also makes several references to other non-LEGO properties as well. With so many licensed sets, fans inevitably want to see their favorite franchises done justice on the small scale. Fans of Pixar films may have spotted a reoccurring Easter egg in those movies, the code A113, which appears in every Pixar movie in some way, shape, or form, except for Monsters, Inc. for some reason. What is A113? Well, it was the classroom number used by the character animation students at the California Institute of the Arts, where several Pixar animators studied. Now, what does this have to do with LEGO? Well, I'm glad you asked. In the LEGO set Spyjet Escape, based on the Pixar movie Cars, the Spyjet has the call sign A113 on its tail. The LEGO movie sets were full of references and Easter eggs, but one set is worth pointing out specifically. The LEGO set Rescue Reinforcements featured 5 minifigures, with 4 being unique to this set, and as it appears, 2 of them are big fans of some older LEGO themes. This guy is rocking a Blacktron shirt that I'm honestly a bit jealous of, and this girl has a shirt with the Fabuland logo on it. If you don't know, Fabuland was a long-running series that stopped production in 1989, so this is definitely a pretty obscure reference. Speaking of older themes making a comeback, LEGO has a history of bringing back characters across multiple lines. The LEGO Nexonites line had some pretty impressive monsters for the heroes to fight, and one of the coolest, hottest, was Infernox. In LEGO set 7325, we got to build this menacing bad guy, but this wasn't Infernox's first appearance in a LEGO set. You see, back in 2010, LEGO released one of the most legendary sets, the Clawcatcher from the LEGO Power Miners line. This set had one of the coolest mechanisms at the time, but for this video, what's specifically interesting is the bad guy. Meet Infernox 1.0. Much smaller, but certainly the same character. How he got from the center of the Earth to the land of Nexonites, I don't know, but he certainly grew a lot. When LEGO announced that The Office would be the 44th Ideas set, fans were overjoyed. While building a model of a struggling paper company's regional office might not sound like everyone's idea of a quote good time, this set has so many references and gags that there's just no way that I can list them all. Some of these were super obvious, like there's Dwight's stapler stuck in Jell-O, Michael's hard-earned World's Best Boss mug, and my personal favorite, Kevin's dropped chili. But there's a lot of smaller, harder to spot bits as well. Minor details include Ryan's burnt pita and the medals from Season 2's Office Olympics. However, when you're putting on some of the set's 63 stickers, you'll likely notice several initials. On the certificate of authenticity for Michael's watch, there are the initials of 3 people that were vital to bringing this set to life, including the fan designer, as well as the people behind 2 social media pages who were instrumental in helping the submission on LEGO Ideas reach 10,000 votes. But by far the most subtle Easter egg in the entire set has got to be this piece, Stanley's crossword puzzle. Eagle-eyed builders or fans of crossword puzzles might notice that the black squares are actually the letters DLC. Now, what is this? Well, it turns out that the set was designed by 3 designers, Diego Sancho, Lara Perron, and Chris Perron. LEGO has a long history of sneaking the initials of designers into their sets. LEGO designer Fiorella Groves issued a challenge to LEGO fans when she announced that there was a secret Easter egg that was hidden in plain sight within the world map set that she designed. This was surprising to many because the map, while a lovely piece of art, doesn't really have too much in the way of detail. Internet detectives quickly unearthed an interview with Fiorella where she talks about growing up in Hong Kong and her love for Chinese culture. Armed with this information, people were able to spot something off the coast of Japan. Despite being in plain sight, it's still pretty hard to spot. With some quick color correction, however, you can reveal the secret. These are the Cantonese characters Mu and Z. When arranged vertically like this, they spell Li, the second most common last name in China. They can also mean plum or plum tree. Fiorella later tweeted confirmation of the findings. LEGO is easily one of the most recognizable toy brands in the world. One of the few icons that stands alongside it is Nintendo, so the collaboration between the two was inevitable. The LEGO Nintendo NES set features level 1-1 of the original Mario Bros. Recreated in glorious plastic pixels. This set is full of references to one of the greatest games of all time, but the real secret is only ever visible during construction. Just under the hood on the right side of the console, there's the unmistakable layout of level 1-2, especially fitting that it's under the surface as the level itself is an underground crawl through the sewers of the Mushroom Kingdom. There's a special detail in the Parisian restaurant set that is easily overlooked. This beautiful 2,469-piece modular set was released back in 2014, and while there are plenty of fun features here, such as the croissants used along the top windows as stonework and the couple getting engaged downstairs, there's one Easter egg that's considerably more hidden. Early on in the build, in step 4, you're told to place 14 tan 2x1s and 5 tan 1x1s in a very specific pattern. If you look closely, you can see that these pieces appear to spell out the word Chez, but why? Well, for that answer, you only have to look at the front of the building. Turns out the restaurant is named Chez Albert, which is French for Albert's house. But who is Albert? Well, it turns out that that is another hidden Easter egg. You see, the Parisian restaurant set was designed by LEGO legend Jamie Berard, who you may recognize from LEGO Masters. As it turns out, when Jamie was just a boy, his parents ran a small restaurant, and Albert was his dad's middle name, so this set pays homage to that. I really love that LEGO lets their designers put these kinds of personal touches into final builds. However, not every secret reference is spelled out quite so clearly, and there are a few that aren't even in the final build, but instead pertain to the packaging. As one example, let's look at the Boarding the Tantive 4 build from 2024. Released as part of the celebration of 25 years of LEGO Star Wars, this set seems to have a fixation with a very specific number. This box comes with 500 pieces, 5 bags of bricks, and costs $55 US. But that's not all. When you get to bag 5, you're rewarded with this set's exclusive minifigure, Fives, from the Clone Wars. A few other small references can be found across a range of LEGO packages too. I mean, just check out this guitar hiding on the Fender Stratocaster box towards the bottom, as well as Iron Man's helmet on this set box, and these minifigure lightsaber pieces depicted on Luke Skywalker's bust. Now, on the topic of Star Wars, the Executive Super Star Destroyer is one of the newest Star Destroyer sets, and it's built in midi scale, which is in between minifigure scale and miniature scale. One very small detail while building this set flew under a lot of people's radars, but I think it's one of the most genius yet subtle Easter eggs I've ever seen in a LEGO set. In one step, we need to stack 2 1x1 round studs on top of each other. No problem, that's easy. The very next step though gets a little weird, as we now need to stack 6 pairs of differently colored 1x1 studs and place them next to each other. Why not just use 2 2x3 plates to fill this space? Well, that's because this is actually recreating one of the film's most famous scenes, where Darth Vader issues instructions to the bounty hunters hired to track down the rebels. As a fun fact, this scene is also the very first appearance of everyone's favorite bounty hunter, Boba Fett. Moving on and stopping by LEGO City, let's take a look at the Jungle Explorer ATV Red Panda mission from 2024's Jungle Exploration sub-theme. This 92-piece build is fine, but nothing really to write home about. However, longtime LEGO fans might just recognize the driver. If you don't remember the LEGO Adventurers line, it ran from 1998 to 2003 and covered settings such as Egypt, Dino Island, and the jungle. Overall, this theme was fantastic and gave a whole generation of builders their first real taste of what LEGO could do. Throughout all of these sets, we followed our intrepid hero, Johnny Thunder, as he and his pals trek through the adventure-rich world. And, well, since Johnny's retirement in 2003, he's popped up a few times around the LEGO universe. In the Ninjago City docks, we learn that he now runs his very own adventure tour company. He appears in the Ninjago movie as a master builder, and he even appears in a photograph in the Mummy Museum Mystery from the Scooby-Doo line. However, although pictures of Johnny were floating around in some LEGO sets, it seemed that he had disappeared for good, as he didn't really appear in any sets as a figure for nearly 20 years. That is, until Series 19 of collectible minifigures was released in 2019. One of these guys was pretty familiar. The Jungle Explorer bears more than just a passing resemblance to Johnny Thunder, and as it turns out, that's no coincidence. This is a direct re-imaging and was confirmed by the designers to be a new version of the classic hero. And so all of that brings us to the Red Panda mission. This set comes with a single Jungle Explorer minifigure as well as a brand new LEGO Red Panda piece. While it's a little bit odd to see Johnny Thunder driving around a vehicle that looks more modern, it's certainly a welcome sight. I guess he must have found the Fountain of Youth or maybe a time machine somewhere during his journey. Now, as any adventurer knows, you won't make it too far without a map, and the same Red Panda mission set gives us a brand new map tile. On top of this, we got 3 more new map tiles spread across this same new Jungle Exploration line, and as a few people on Reddit noticed pretty quickly, they all match up to form a single giant map. map. However, this isn't even the coolest Easter egg found on a LEGO map. This classic 2x2 tile has appeared in 29 sets, from Monster Fighters to LEGO Friends, and while it might seem like any other treasure map on the surface, movie buffs might recognize it for what it truly is. This piece was originally released in 2008 as part of 3 Indiana Jones sets: the Indiana Jones Motorcycle Chase set, the Jungle Duel set, and the Peril in Peru set. After opening up these boxes, many fans were quick to recognize the origin of this map. It's actually an exact copy of the map used to find the Holy Grail in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Moving on, another thing that LEGO loves hiding in sets is flags. Usually these are meant to be a nod to the creator of the set, such as the small Italian flag hiding in the base of the incredible A-frame cabin. You see, the creator of this set that submitted the design on LEGO Ideas was from Milan, Italy. A similar hidden shoutout can be found in the Tales of the Space Age Ideas build, where a Polish flag can be found in honor of fan designer Jan Wadznica. Next up, there's a really clever secret behind the LEGO Western theme that I want to tell you about, and as I do me a quick favor and quickly tap that subscribe button if you're enjoying all these secrets and Easter eggs. Alright, LEGO Western released 20 LEGO sets from 1997 to 1998, and as anyone who's ever seen a Western movie can tell you, you need at least 2 ingredients for any good tale. 1, a law-bringing sheriff, and 2, a gang of rambunctious outlaws. And well, as it turns out, LEGO Western had both of these bases covered. It seems that these plastic frontier folk were being terrorized by a small gang of bandits: Dewey Cheatham, Black Bart, and their infamous leader, Flatfoot Thompson, which is kind of funny and ironic since Flatfoot is an old slang word for police officer. Maybe that's why in a few countries, LEGO actually renamed this character Prairie Pete, although this may have also just been an additional nickname. Nonetheless, it seems that old Flatfoot here was quite the slippery sort, as wanted posters calling for his capture appeared in a total of 5 sets from 1996 all the way until 2002. Well, kind of. Initially, this piece was included in a couple sets, namely the Gold City Junction and Sheriff's Lockup builds from 1996, as well as 2 different Wild West accessory packs from 1997 and 1999. The final set with this piece was released in 2002 when LEGO re-released the Sheriff's Lockup set. Now, with a reward of $500 in the Western time period, he must have done some pretty bad stuff, although it's worth mentioning that the poster calls for his capture dead or alive, and while that was pretty common back in the day, I can't imagine that LEGO would put something like this on any of their more modern sets. Oh, and I can't move on without pointing out that unlike 99% of minifigures ever made, Flatfoot Thompson actually has a printed nose. Why? Well, I'm not entirely sure, but it's a cool touch nonetheless. Now, the LEGO Batman Collectible Minifigures Series 2 gave us some pretty deep cuts from the DC universe, but my favorite of all of them has got to be the Apache Chief. Not because I'm a huge fan or anything, but because of the wonderfully random accessory. Within the bag for this figure, you'll find a 1x3 printed tile that seems to be a row of pictures from a photo booth. In the pictures, it seems that our hero here is being scared off by some kind of monkey, and while this could be just a random primate, the far more likely option is that this is Gleek, the fun yet incredibly forgettable sidekick to the Wonder Twins who fought crime alongside Apache Chief in the Justice League. While we still haven't ever gotten a Gleek minifigure, he did appear in the LEGO Batman movie, so maybe there's hope for someday down the road. However, as another potential reference for this piece, there's a scene from the 2002 US sitcom Arrested Development where one of the characters is chased out of a photo booth by a goat, and the images are pretty similar. Although that might be a stretch, Will Arnett, who voices LEGO Batman, was a star in this older show, so there's at least a chance that the two are related or inspired by each other. Now, while most Easter eggs are fairly easy to understand and comprehend once you find them, some are a bit more of a challenge, and that's the case with this little reference in the Upside Down set based on Netflix's Stranger Things. While building Hopper's truck, you're supposed to place a single pumpkin into the truck's cabin. Why? Well, it seems that even fans were a little bit confused on this one. As it turns out, this is a reference to a single scene in the show's second season where the character is called out to a pumpkin patch to investigate a few strange things. The pumpkin doesn't really have any real story relevance, so this was certainly a very small nod to die-hard fans of the show. Up next, the Boutique Hotel is a gorgeous 3,000-piece build that's hiding several references references and Easter eggs. One fun little detail can be found in the hotel lobby. Sitting on the receptionist's desk is a 2x2 tile with an exclusive print. It's the hotel guest book, and it's signed by a few names that you might recognize from other modular buildings, such as the chef from the Parisian restaurant named Albert and the garage owner from the corner garage named Joe. It's cool to see how interlinked these modular sets are. But that's not the only tie-in, because in the lobby there's a small painting hanging on one wall, and according to the set's official instructions, this was painted by the artist living above the Parisian restaurant, and I've got to say, I see the resemblance. But that's certainly not all, because the Avengers Tower is the largest Marvel set ever released, made out of more than 5,000 pieces. While this building is packed with references that are sure to delight any fan, one tiny surprising detail has left some LEGO fans scratching their heads. You see, at the bottom of the building there's a small wooden bench. Nothing unusual about that. However, underneath there's something a little bit odd. A single 1x1 round stud. In a set so full of hidden references, this one caused many fans to frantically search their brain for some kind of hidden meaning. Well, as it turns out, the answer is surprisingly straightforward. It seems that this is simply a piece of gum that some lazy minifigure has simply stuck under the bench. Seriously, there's a trash can right there. But this isn't the only time that LEGO has stuck something where it doesn't belong. The London bus is the perfect package for anyone with a love for England and is an incredibly accurate representation of the city's iconic double-decker buses, right down to the smallest details. Underneath one of the seats on the lower level, you're asked to place a single pink 1x1 round stud to, again, serve as some misplaced gum. Gross. But this got me thinking a bit. Why include such a random little detail? The London bus specifically has a pretty bare interior, and this piece kind of just stands out. It reminds me a bit of a few years ago when pink bricks were randomly appearing in nearly every Star Wars build, leaving many fans a bit confused. I mean, it's well known nowadays that almost every Brickhead's figure has a pink brick for a brain. Likewise, many large sets have multicolored bricks hidden inside to help orient the pieces during the build. But this bag from the Star Wars AAT shows two distinctly pink bricks that really have no purpose being here. Well, actually, there's a fun reason for them. LEGO designer Henrik Anderson was asked specifically about this, and he gave us all the sweet details. It turns out that his wife, Danielle, a quality engineer at LEGO, had jokingly said that if the design team could put a pink brick in a Star Wars set, she would bake them a cake. Well, this got slightly out of hand, and now we have dozens of Star Wars ships hiding pink bricks just so the designers could enjoy some cake. Seems like a pretty sweet deal to me. Now, the collectible minifigures line has been wildly popular since its initial release in 2010. This series has given us some of the most legendary minifigures and some of the most wild accessories. When Series 25 was first announced in 2023, figures like the Goat Herder and Bat Knight got most of the attention at first, but there was one figure that had what might be the cleverest and funniest accessory that LEGO's ever included with a collectible minifigure. The film noir detective is a neat enough minifigure with some great elements that we've never gotten before, as well as a very rare rounded cloth collar. But the real treat is what he's holding. While many people may wonder what a fish has to do with a detective, the answer is all in the color. It's a red herring. For anyone who might not be up to date on their 1920s detective lingo, a red herring is something that looks like a clue, but isn't. This joke might be a little obscure, but it's pretty funny if you ask me. However, not every LEGO secret or Easter egg is so plainly visible. In fact, most of them are so hidden that only the builder will ever see them. That's the case with something in the Tales of the Space Age build, as submitted to me by a viewer named Scottish James. In this image that he sent me, you can clearly make out a red and white rectangle that starkly contrasts with the rest of the build and is quickly covered up by the frame. Now, for most people, this might not look like anything special, but it is actually the Polish flag. But why exactly is there a flag hidden in this set? Well, as it turns out, there's actually a really good answer. This particular build was designed by a fan as part of the LEGO Ideas line, and that designer was Jan Woźnica, who's from, yep, you guessed it, Poland. Another incredibly well-hidden Easter egg can be found in the 3-in-1 crocodile set. While building this beast, you'll be asked to place two small round eyes inside at one point. What's even stranger is that one of them seems to be crying. These are quickly covered up and can't even be accessed once the build is finished. So what is all this about? Well, it's crocodile tears, which for anyone wondering is an old expression meaning that someone is only pretending to be sad. This might be the most obscure reference in any LEGO set, but I have to admit that I found it hilarious, and if you're enjoying enjoying these secrets that I'm sharing, I'd appreciate it if you took 2 seconds to tap that subscribe button. Up next is the Brick Bank, which, like all modulars, doesn't skimp on the detail. This building is packed with fun secrets, but there's one that stands out. It seems that this particular bank shares a wall with a laundromat. While that might not sound like much of an issue at first, a quick look at some of the set's promotional images shows us just how nefarious this really is. Yup, that minifigure is putting money into a washing machine. While we've all accidentally washed a pocket full of cash at one point, that's not quite what's going on here. You see, this washing machine shares a wall with the bank vault, which means that this money is, wait for it, being laundered. We all know that crime rates in LEGO City were high, but money laundering appears to be happening as well. Such a nefarious activity for a minifigure, but there's more. Because you may have noticed that LEGO's licensed sets have become a major focus for the company over the last few years. They have largely been big hits with both fans of LEGO and whatever property they're licensing. One of the most popular ones with non-LEGO fans has been The Office, which was released in 2022. I know I've mentioned this build before, but every time I look again, I find something new. This time, I've got a small detail that caused a few builders a bit of confusion. This step from the instructions shows that you can swap out a 1x2 white brick for a 1x2 Technic brick with hole. For anyone who hasn't seen the show, this seems like a completely random and totally unnecessary thing to do. However, fans are likely to immediately get the joke. Without going into it, this is a reference to a scene where a character punches a hole in a wall before being shipped off to anger management classes. By far the most wholesome Easter egg that I've seen in a set though can be found in Dobby the House Elf from 2023. While I find the set overall to be a little bit unsettling, there's one part that admittedly warmed my heart. On page 14 of the instructions, we're told to add a small gold heart tile before quickly covering it up to never be seen again. We all know that Dobby had a heart of gold, so this was great to see from the LEGO designers. Another licensed set that came with a very niche joke is the Portal 2 pack from the LEGO Dimensions line. This set included the game's main character, a turret, and a weighted companion cube. Fans of the game have long wondered what's inside these cubes, and it seems that LEGO was ready to answer that question. While building it, you'll have to add 4 translucent red 1x1 round studs, which some fans have claimed confirms the theory that the cubes are stuffed with people who failed the game's tests. Another amazing hidden secret from a video game can be found in the Nintendo Entertainment System build. This set features an incredible recreation of the famous World 1-1 level, but that's not the only Mario stage in here. During the construction of the console, there's an incredible section featuring the unmistakable layout of World 1-2, and it's even got the secret warp pipes at the end. Awesome. Now, going back to the Brickheads line, LEGO has been extra clever in a few sets. If we take a look at the Toy Story characters released a couple years ago, we can see Buzz Lightyear, Woody, and Little Bo Peep. Like most Brickheads, they have a small pink brick for the brain, but there's another hidden secret amongst one of these sets. You know, Sheriff Woody, he's got guts. No, literally, this guy comes with guts. When you're building his torso, you'll notice that the set comes with what look like some ice cream scoops. You simply place them into his torso. This is a pretty unique feature since Woody in the movie is a cotton-filled doll, so the LEGO designers included the ice cream scoops to represent the cotton, and just like his buddy Woody, Buzz Lightyear has a little secret too. In the movie, Buzz is a plastic action figure that requires batteries. Well, the designer for this LEGO Brickhead set included all of the details even down to the batteries you'd need to power him up. You can see here in the instructions where you have to place LEGO bricks that look like 4 batteries into Buzz's torso. However, the weirdest hidden secret in any LEGO set might just be in the LEGO Minecraft set The End Battle. This box came with a truly one-of-a-kind brick that was totally unique to each package. Each of these sets included a 2x4 brick with a 25-digit code printed on it. Each of these was a completely unique, one-time use code that can be used to unlock a skin in the Bedrock edition of the game. I think this was a really neat idea, but I can definitely see why LEGO doesn't do this very often. Printing bricks with unique codes has got to be very annoying and a very costly endeavor in LEGO's factories. Nonetheless, there are many more fun hidden secrets in LEGO sets that you can see right here. Click to check them out, and don't forget to tap that subscribe button for more LEGO videos.